everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Momo. How are y'all doing today? So, Zenless Zone Zero is a Hoyoverse game that I really love. I love the characters, I love the gameplay, and I absolutely adore the animation. So I really wanted to do a video where I drew some of their characters. That type of video is right up my alley, but this time it's going to be a little different. Since ZZZ is a gacha game, I wanted to draw the characters I was able to pull in the game. Unfortunately, I'm a free-to-play player and I'm pretty broke on polychromes. So I had to turn to plan B, a little. So I added every playable character from ZZZ, including Belle and Weiss. These were the wheel picks. I was really hoping to draw Belle, but alas, I was not so lucky. Either way, I think I got some really cool picks, although some of them are going to be pretty hard. Oh boy. Well, stick around to see if I was able to make these characters justice. I'm going to be honest and say that I haven't gotten that far in this game's story, mainly because I keep getting distracted on side quests, so I really didn't know anything about Yuzuha other than that her design is really cute. So I had to dig in a little bit, and I was really surprised by the direction they took her in. Turns out Yuzuha is the sole survivor of a scheme that kidnapped homeless children to perform experiments on. At the time, she didn't have a name of her own, only being called by her subject number and the nickname Little Candle. Some people called her that because she has night blindness, and so she would often walk around with a candlestick so she could see better. By pure luck, she crossed paths with a man that, after realizing Yuzuha's situation, was eager to help her out. He was also the one that named her Yuzuha. During her escape, however, the man did not survive, leaving her alone once more. Not long after that, she was discovered by Lee Baodon, that ended up adopting her and raising her as his own. After that, Yuzuha lived a relatively normal life. She went to school, made friends, and eventually joined a web forum all about the supernatural and scary encounters. The Spooky Shack is the name of the forum and the name of her in-game faction. It is said that she has countless spooky tales to tell, so much so that she never tells the same story twice. She also is incredibly lucky and has a pet tanuki. I already knew I was going to like Yuzuha because of her design, but I wasn't expecting her to be everything I love in a character. I love her unexplainable look, I love that she is a fan of the supernatural and the occult, I love that her pet is a tanuki, and so her design is stock full of references of the yokai, and I even love her backstory as a subject of human experiments. I find that I always love characters that have a backstory that involves scientific malpractice for some reason. So like Vanessa's Alice from Alice Madness Returns. I know it's technically different, but Little Nightmares has similar vibes to it as well, although I think Little Nightmares is more cosmic horror than anything. All this to say, I really like Yuzuha, and she was really fun to draw too. I kinda went crazy on her jacket detail, but I think it was worth it. But what do you think? Astra is so pretty. I was really happy when the wheel chose her. Again, like Yuzuha, I didn't know too much about her, I just knew that I was definitely going to have fun drawing her. But who is Astra exactly? Well, Astra is one of the members of the faction Stars of Lyra. She is a multifaceted artist known for her acting work, but especially for her influence in the music scene. She is so beloved that she's often referred to as the Queen of New Eridu. She is very bubbly and curious, so she loves to walk around New Eridu, find new places to hang out, meeting her fans, and hanging out with us, Belle and Weiss. Her connection with music is truly beautiful. Music was the one thing that gave her hope for the future once Eridu was engulfed by the Hollow Zero. This incentivized her to join the music industry so that she could bring hope to people herself. Her weapon fits her so well. In ZZZ, we have the classic weapon types, swords, guns, chainsaws, hammers, but I find that lately they've been playing around with more unorthodox weapon types. So Astra's weapon is a microphone that can turn her voice into powerful sonic waves that are both graceful and very dangerous. She was really fun to draw. I love Hoyoverse's designs, but sometimes they can be too much for me. They're too detailed for me to be able to keep track of all the little details, but also they're way too detailed for my art style in general. Like, sure, you can get away with adding 10 buttons and belts if you draw characters in a lanky way, but my characters are notoriously more squashed in nature. I can't find space to fit all that detail. My solution to that is that I usually omit the details that I don't really care for. But I don't think I had to do that as much with Astra, which is always a plus in my book. It also probably helped that the most detailed part of her design, her necklace, was completely hidden by your hand. I could have chosen a different pose so that I could showcase her necklace, but can you honestly look at this pose and not see it as a perfect pose for her? Pan Yinhu. God, Pan Yinhu. I knew I was not going to have fun at all. He is an anthropomorphic panda, which I usually don't draw. He is huge, which again, a body shape I don't usually draw. I don't know him as a character at all, so I was having trouble connecting with him enough to have the motivation to draw him. I was having so much trouble finding references for him and poses that I could draw him in. I came to a point where I just thought, you know, if you were going to give me such a hard character to draw, why didn't you give me Ben? I love Ben. He's just as hard to draw, but at least I know the guy. Alas, Pan Yinhu was the one that I pulled, not Ben. But who is Pan Yinhu? Well, Yinhu is part of the Yunhui Summit faction and he is their resident chef. He used to be on his own, only surviving by doing odd jobs and the occasional hollow raid. Because of the hardships he felt in his youth, Yinhu developed frugal tendencies as well as bargaining skills. I take it that since he grew up with not a lot of food around, food became very important to him, to a point where the most important reason for why he joined his faction was the promise of having enough funds to be able to eat 3 meals a day, only to then realize that he would have to do it himself. Still, he didn't feel discouraged and ended up teaching himself how to cook. He seems to take a lot of pride in the way he takes care of the other disciples. It's said that he absolutely spoils them with yummy snacks, as well as taking the time to mentor the newcomers, including the main character. And you know what? He won me over. I love this fuzzy panda with a heart of gold. I love that he is this caring older brother figure that tries his best to keep everyone safe, strong, and well-fed. I'm not gonna lie, it was a bit hard to draw, so much so that I ended up only drawing a portrait of him. The drawing turned out okay, but I think I messed up his expression. I used his key art as reference, and in his key art he is drawn with this confident and playful smile, but when I draw anthropomorphic characters, I don't usually draw mouths, so it just kinda looks pissed off. Whoops. And finally we have Lighter. I love Lighter, he looks super cool and I love that he's the type of guy that tries really hard to keep up that appearance. Lighter is a member of the Sons of Kaladin faction. In fact, he is known as the champion of the Sons of Kaladin. Lighter used to be a mercenary, unfortunately that didn't go as planned. His teammates at the time passed away due to his poor judgment, and so as a way to atone, he decided to take care of their families. Let's just say he ended up with a lot of debt. He tried to get the money to pay it off by joining underground fighting, where his skills as a great fighter were very valued. Eventually, Big Daddy of the Sons of Kaladin saw potential in Lighter and ended up recruiting him into the gang. Eventually, he came to see the other Sons of Kaladin as his family. Interestingly enough, Lighter is connected with one of my favorite ZZZ characters, Billy, who used to be part of the Sons of Kaladin and was a champion before the arrival of Lighter. Despite Billy being currently part of the Cunning Hares, Lighter and Billy are still somewhat close, with Lighter referring to Billy as his brother and predecessor. I actually have Lighter as a playable character and he's really fun to play as. As you play, you can almost feel the strength of each punch and he feels quite powerful as a result. His weapons are these huge gauntlets that ended up proving to be a problem for me. I love Lighter, but it turned out to be quite hard to draw. His design is really cool, but all the emblems and belts and spikes proved to be a bit too much. Because, like I mentioned before, I have a hard time finding space to place all these elements. Still, I think it turned out pretty neat, but tell me what you think. And that's all I have for today. If you want to help out the channel, consider joining channel memberships where you get to see sneak peeks for my videos, my personal projects, exclusive emojis and loyalty badges, as well as getting your name shouted out at the end of the videos just like this. Thank you to Sunny's Art in the Sky for supporting the channel. Your support means the world. If you want to see more stuff from me, I'm also on Instagram and Twitter at momopurin_chan, on Kara at momopurin, and on Blue Sky at momopurin-chan. Thank you so much, and until next time, bye!